AM 590, KXSP Omaha's ESPN Radio. It's time for the Metro's only racing talk show. The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Buddy Ray.
Good morning, race fans, and welcome to the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. That is karting with a K. It's Joe's Today Amazing Karts. Buddy's been hard at work the entire week trying to get the karts repaired, so that way when you come in and race, you've got a great, decent, great car to race with and to put up some fast times. I was very proud of myself. I put up a 16.003 lap time. And Anthony Ainslie joining us on the phone now. Anthony, have you been down to Joe's since they got their new karts?
Unfortunately, I have not. School's been tying me down.
Yeah, college has a habit of doing that, right?
Yeah, that's kind of part of the game.
Well, Anthony, you had a pretty busy weekend last weekend with the turkey chase, so I wanted to get you on the phone and kind of talk to you a little bit about the turkey chase, the 3-day weekend of racing, and all the results we saw. So if you don't mind, go ahead and take off and talk to us about what we saw at the Lancaster Event Center for the turkey chase.
Well, most of the Husker Nation fans were watching the Huskers trying to come back against Iowa. I was down at the Lancaster Event Center calling the 9th annual turkey chase down at the Lancaster County Event Center. It was a great 3-day weekend. Over 200 entries were registered for the event, about 24 different classes. We saw a lot of good action, a lot of close battling, and I have to say, I think it may have topped last year's turkey chase. And a little special addition came in this year. J.J. Rodeman, who is a late model driver out of York, Nebraska, brought in a very unique-looking cart to the event. It's basically a flat cart with a dirt late model body around it. So, and J.J. and I sort of dubbed it the cart model. So we had about 2 or 3 of them come out and put on a little exhibition race. It was a good time all the way around, some close action, and there were plenty of good faces around just about anywhere you looked. There was a pretty good racing family or some siblings of racers around here in Nebraska and Iowa that you were watching racing, and it was all around a very fun weekend for everyone.
Yeah, I was pulling into my aunt and uncle's there in Lincoln for Thanksgiving, and I saw the Bade family making their way down to the event center and getting set up, and that was even on Thursday.
Yeah, I was going to say, I talked to Shaylee a couple times throughout the weekend, and she and Chantel kind of had a few struggles. They had good charges early on in their heat races and later on in their features throughout the weekend. But then as the race wore on, they kind of got shuffled back towards the rear of the field. So I think kind of a moderately decent weekend for the Bade team. Can
you talk to us about some of the winners? I know that we feature a lot of drivers on here for the Young Guns segment, talking about up-and-coming dirt drivers, and a lot of them put on their big accolades that they won at the annual turkey chase. So is there a couple of more we can hear from this year, maybe some new winners or some frequent winners?
Well, I think one of the guys you could see, Matt Richards, right now a sprint car driver, a former modified track champion out of Junction Motor Speedway, with son Cade Richards. He was a busy man throughout the weekend, competed in about 3 different divisions, put in at least the better part of 300 laps over the weekend, and ended up walking away with 2 feature wins on Sunday afternoon. It was good to see Cade back in victory lane. I don't get to watch him a lot. Usually the turkey chase is the only time I get to watch him because IAD Speedway has my Friday nights, but it's good to see the next generation of Richards come in. I think the racing world is going to be very, very happy to see the next generation come in. Also, Grayson Layton, of course, Bill Layton Jr.'s son, won the rookie cage kart division. And also we saw Keely Holloman, the 4th-generation driver. Of course, I think it's Tad Holloman's granddaughter, or not quite sure the resemblance there, but still part of Tad Holloman's family, also taking part in the cage kart ranks. It's good to see these next generation of racing families come in. And also Al Zeitner was in the house because his son, Zach Zeitner, was competing in the cage karts. And Zach had a pretty good outing. He got tangled up in a few incidents, but still it was an overall good first appearance for Zach in the Turkey Chase.
Who was a driver that you saw, maybe a first-time driver that really kind of lit the Turkey Chase up this year? Can you pick one out?
I think definitely it was a kid going by the name of Tabor Ferenza. He calls Colby, Kansas his home, made the trip up to Lincoln for the Turkey Chase, and I tell you what, he made quite a living. He won like 4 of his 5 feature events on Friday night. Came back and then won, I think it was like a stock heavy clones, and also picked up a win in the adult clone medium division. He finished, I believe it was, and he also picked up the win in the main event on Sunday afternoon. That was the adult clone heavy division. Tabor Ferenza, he got the track figured out, and man, he just laid it all on the line. And he showed these Nebraska guys how Kansas does kart racing.
Yeah, I've actually been to Colby, Kansas. It's kind of funny you mentioned that. I have friends from there. But anybody else that kind of lit up the track there at the Lancaster Event Center for the Turkey Chase?
The Krug boys were back at it again. Jordan and Jody were back again. Of course, Jody, one of the main operators out at Little Sunset Speedway, former Grand National late model driver, he found some success, and so did Jordan. And I know they had a bit of a run-in with Corey Gumpert on Friday night. Corey, he's been running in the Turkey Chase the last couple of years, won the adult clone heavy division last year. But Friday there was a little bit of an altercation, and the way I put it was sometimes close racing gets a little too close for comfort.
You don't necessarily have to be racing late models to get passionate and get a little heated about these, huh?
Yeah, and sometimes it carries over, and it almost doesn't matter what you drive. You know, if the racing gets close, you know, you're going to have situations like that. Personally, I don't like seeing that because, you know, I feel in racing the only place to make a statement is on the track instead of away in the pit areas, yeah. and that's just my personal take on it. But you know, those incidents are going to happen, and it's part of the game. You have to give and take in this sport.
Any harsh feelings afterwards? Were they able to kind of work it out and they were back to being buddies again, or at least respectable competitors?
Oh, yeah. I mean, by the time Sunday afternoon came around, when the final event came around, they were battling hard for second and third. I think Gumpert finished I think he got third, and one of the Krug boys finished a little bit further back in the pack. But when all was said and done, you know, they shook hands, and they congratulated each other on their finishes. I think it all played out. And, you know, with those 3-day weekends, sometimes late in the weekend, you kind of get tired of bumping and trading paint with others. So I think the weekend sometimes got the better of them. But all in all, they had the altercation to start the weekend off, but by the end, you know, it was they let bygones be bygones.
That's always good. Anthony, anything we're missing out on? Anything we need to make sure and cover before we let you go this time around?
Not too much. I'm just glad to see that the Huskers finally got a new coach. But on the side of that, there's not much left. There's not much racing left you can cover, except there are just a couple of indoor races clear out in New Jersey. But as far as I'm concerned, there's not much racing left to go. My racing season for 2014 is officially in the books, so I'll get ready. I'll have a good off season, I think, and I'll be back in 2015. I can't wait for that season to get started up.
Yeah, have you already marked on the calendar when your first event is in 2015?
Probably I know there's an indoor go-kart event, but chances are I won't be announcing that deal. I just might go to it as a spectator. But other than that, my first event will probably be the Spring Thaw at the Junction Motor Speedway. That's the season opener for that track, and then follow that up with the Spring Meltdown for the Lucas Oil MLRA late models, along with the ASCS Midwest Region Sprint Cars. That's always a good weekend to go to. You get a little bit of everything, modified, super late models, sprint cars, all together for 2 days. You can't miss with that. That's going to be out at the I-80 Speedway to start off the 2015 MLRA season.
Absolutely. Anthony Ainslie, the voice in the pits at the at I-80 Speedway and I believe Junction Motor Speedway, right?
Yep, and of course, maybe we'll see each other down the road at the SLMR series. Maybe when SLMR invades Crawford County.
I got a feeling we'll cross paths quite a bit this in 2015. You've been a great addition to the show this year, and I can't wait to have you back on, sir.
Absolutely, it was nice to meet you out at Denison the first time, and here on the front stretch almost each and every week.
Yeah, we had you on for quite a few weeks in a row there, didn't we?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and I couldn't be happier with it.
Thank you, Anthony. We appreciate your time, and you have a good Sunday.
All right. You too, Dan.
And again, that was Anthony Ainslie of the SLMR Series talking to us about the 2014 Turkey Chase results from last weekend at the Lancaster Event Center that Joe Koziski and I-80 Speedway and Little Sunset Speedway put on every year. So a great little event, and thank you to Anthony for joining us. Now we move over to the next phone line. It's a busy Sunday morning as we're continuing to check around the area with local dirt tracks, and Joe Miller joins us from the Crawford County Racing Association, the guys who run the racing at Crawford County Speedway. Joe, appreciate you taking the time out of your morning.
Good morning, Dan.
Joe, there's been a little bit of flux going on over there at CCS, so I thought it'd be a good idea to kind of get you on the show and maybe put out some fires and some rumors, because you know how this community loves the rumor mill. So what can you talk to us about as far as who's in charge of what and what you guys have going on so far as 2015 is concerned?
As far as 2015 is concerned, we have 18 nights of racing. We have a seasonal kickoff April 3rd. It's a to-be determined deal. And then our regular nights of racing will start on May 1st and run up to our last points race will actually be July 31st.
Okay.
And we've actually got some pretty big shows coming this year to Crawford County Speedway. We've got the USMTS with the URA B-Mods and Stock Car Ironman Challenge Series coming. That will be held Thursday, May 21st. And then on June 12th, the World of Outlaw Sprint Cars will be in Denison, Iowa.
And by the way, for any folks that want to follow along as Joe goes through the schedule, you can go to dirtdrivers.com, and Joe posted it on the Crawford County page. It's a tentative schedule, but Joe's continuing to go through it, and we'll keep talking about it. And you kind of talked about it a little bit there. Friday, June 12th is a date that you definitely want to put on your calendar. You guys got a World of Outlaws race coming to Crawford County Speedway.
Yes, we do. It took a couple of years to get it to come, and it all fell in place, and it should be a very, very outstanding show to watch.
Absolutely. We've seen the Nebraska 360s race there for the last 2 years, put on a great show with Jack Dover, Stu Snyder, Trevor Grossenbacher, and now you're going to see guys like Donnie Schatz. Well, unfortunately, we won't be able to see Steve Kinzer, but just some great names that Danny the Dude Lasowski's probably going to be there. Some of the biggest names you see at the World of Outlaws are going to be there Friday, June 12th.
Yes, that is correct. I mean, you got Schatz, you got Pittman, you got all the KKR cars, and there's going to be some top, and then plus quite a few of the Knoxville guys will probably be over here. Then a lot of the National Sprint League guys will probably be around too for that. So it should be a very, very good event to come up and watch.
It looks like you guys have spread the nights out very evenly throughout the schedule. They're not loaded in the middle or loaded at the beginning or the end. In May, you've got a great USMTS race right in the middle of May 21st. Then a couple of weeks later in June, you've got the World of Outlaws. Then in July, it kind of picks up with the fair races. And like you talked about with the National Sprint League 410 Series.
Yep, July, well, like you said, we'll have the special in April. We'll have the special with the UMTS in May, and then June will be the World of Outlaws. In July, of course, is always the Crawford County Fair, and the regular fair races will be held Thursday night, the 23rd, and then on the 24th, we will have the National Sprint League 410 Series coming up, Clearing's new 410 Midwest Series that's going to run throughout the Midwest here, and there's a lot of hype about that series too, and there's some very good drivers that are going to be in that series, and it's going to draw a lot of people too. And
we're talking with Joe Miller of the Crawford County Speedway. Joe's helping out this year, getting back with the Racing Association. And Joe, you guys have done a great job in the off season with putting together a schedule so far. If I could kind of dive in a little bit deeper, who's going to be the people in charge this year as far as the Racing Association is concerned?
Well, the Racing Association, there's 5 of us on the board, and we're the promoters. And starting this year, we we went a different direction, and we hired T.J. Ray. He's going to be our new race director. He'll be running all track operations on Friday night racing. So that's probably about the biggest change that's up here. So.
Do you know, and this is just something that, nobody who goes to Crawford County is really going to know this, but do you guys have any idea where you're going to place Ray? As far as the drivers are concerned, I think they really liked it in 2013 when Ray was standing up on the grandstands and he could overlook the entire field. Do you know where you're going to place him, or is that going to be up to TJ?
TJ, it's going to be up to TJ. I'm sure he's going to be up on top.
Yep.
He's going to be on the race receiver running he's going to be running the operation. So, it's his call, and wherever he feels he's going to be more productive at it, up on top, watching everything, or down in the pit.
So TJ is going to be the main guy making the calls as far as rough driving, need to go back to, this is your penalties, he's going to be the one making the calls that night?
TJ's totally in charge of the whole race night that night, during the race night, and he's in charge of all the calls. And
okay.
Right or wrong, he will make the decision on them, so...
Well, it's good to have one person in charge. There's that old saying, too many chiefs, not enough tribesmen, and that can get kind of convoluted. So it's good that TJ is going to be the one that's going to make the call, and I have a lot of respect for TJ. Right or wrong, whether I agree with him or disagree with him, he always stood by his word and said, this is the way it's going to go. And, and he listened to drivers if they didn't like the way he called it, and he kind of took it into account and maybe changed it up a little bit next time. But TJ's a very consistent race director. I think he made a good choice there.
Thanks. And TJ's been around for a long, long time, and there's nothing wrong with our old race director.
Right.
It was just time for a change, and that's the way we went, and it's all going to work out for the best. So.
A couple of other schedule questions, if we can come back around to it. There's a couple of Friday night specials, talking about Friday, June 12th, Friday, July 24th, and then Friday, August 28th. Do you know, are those races also going to be weekly points-paying races, or is that going to be a non-sanctioned night?
That'll be a non-sanctioned night. The World of Outlaws, they're still deciding what the support class is going to be on that, and that's the same with the National Sprint League. It looks like there's going to be one support class each night, so people will be able to come in, watch it, and get out at a decent hour. And there'll be time trials, heat races, and then the A feature, B and A feature. So it's going to be a fun night.
Well, you kind of said something there with getting people out at a decent time. It does seem to be kind of an issue the first couple of weeks, not just at Crawford County. There's a lot of tracks that are shaking the rust off from the off-season, working in new people. Your goal, you said to me the other night when we were talking that you want to start at 7:30, and your guys' goal is to be done by 10:30. You think that's going to be doable?
It is what it is. There's a lot of things that happen on the racetrack that it's out of everybody's control.
Right.
There's accidents and stuff that anymore you almost have to put a time limit on it and stick to it. Things are going to happen no matter what. But if you stick to the program and run it the way it should be ran, there's no problem. You should be out of the night time.
Have you guys worked out ticket prices for weekly races, and then obviously the specials will be determined as you guys work out the contracts with those guys? But what about weekly races? Have you approached the subject of ticket prices yet, or is that something still to be decided?
That's still. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same as last year.
Okay.
It's something that we'll discuss, but it's just you got to have a fair price for a fair product. So can't get too out of control. And with the major shows that we've got coming in this year, we don't want to drain the fans too much either. So you got to be fair. What's fair is fair. So
absolutely right. There's a delicate balance there with that farming community that's in there of not draining the budget. So good call there. I like that. All right, sir. Anything I'm leaving out we need to talk about?
No, you'll probably edit quite a bit of that stuff, won't you?
I'll clean it up a little bit, but you sounded really good.
So...
CCSDirtracing.com for more information. Is that the same place we can go to?
Yes, it is. CCSDirtracing.com is our webpage.
And then is the Facebook still the same also? Crawford County Speedway, Denison, Iowa?
That is correct, yes.
All right, sir. Crawford County Speedway. New schedule out for 2015. Drivers, get pre-registered. I can't start preaching that enough because I don't want to deal with a late start on Friday, May 1st or Friday, April 3rd because you guys couldn't get around to getting pre-registered. Joe, Appreciate your time. Best of luck, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
So again, Joe Miller with Crawford County Speedway in Denison, Iowa, releasing their 2015 schedule. It's a tentative schedule, still some changes to be made, but Thursday, May 21st, USMTS and USRA stock cars and B-Mods will be there. Then Friday, June 12th, World of Outlaw sprint car races. And then Thursday, July 23rd, is the regular fair night races, which they usually put on one heck of a show on those nights. Then the next night, Friday, July 24th, National Sprint League, the 410 sprint cars will be there. Then there is a August 7th and August 14th rainout dates in case Mother Nature decides to ruin our fun on one of the weeks. They've got it built into the schedule to be able to make those dates up. So again, ccsdirtracing.com for all schedules, tickets, and information what's going on at Crawford County Speedway. While we still have a few minutes left in the show, I'll let you know that Jim Howe is just around the corner from the Mid America Motorplex looking to talk to us about the changes over there. Then in turn number 3, we're talking with John Gerloff for the Legends of the Dirt Series. He'll continue into turn number 4 when we wrap up the show on this beautiful December 7th, Sunday morning in the Midwest. Some NASCAR news and notes. Todd Barrier has joined Joe Gibbs Racing as Senior Vice President of Racing Operations. Plus, there's been a couple of crew chief changes over at Joe Gibbs Racing to make it easy for you. Dave Rogers, who was the crew chief for Kyle Busch, has moved over to Denny Hamlin and the 11 crew. Adam Stevens, who was Kyle Busch's crew chief at Kyle Busch Motorsports in the Nationwide Series, is being promoted up to the 18 team to work with Kyle Busch. Joining the team, joining Joe Gibbs Racing this year, Carl Edwards. He will take Darian Grubb as his crew chief. Obviously, Darian was the 11 crew chief for the last couple of years. And Jason Ratcliffe will remain at the number 20 team with Matt Kenseth. Brad Keselowski announced earlier this week that despite the successes they saw in the Truck Series in Keselowski Racing, the team ended up losing $1 million in revenue this year. He said they drew in about 7 to 8 million, but still ended up losing $1 million after everything was all said and done. Does not plan on scaling back in 2015. NASCAR is also considering point system changes to the newly rebranded Xfinity Series, formerly the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and the Camping World Truck Series. Steve O'Donnell said earlier this week that the attention that the Chase grid brought the Cup Series should be looked at for the Xfinity Series and the Camping World Truck Series. Personally, I think that's a good move. NASCAR also expects to begin negotiations to extend their contract with Sprint. No word yet on how long that negotiation will take or how long the contract will be for. But as we all know, Sprint is the naming sponsor for the National Touring Series that was the Winston Cup, that was the Nextel Cup, is now the Sprint Series. So hopefully that gets locked in and we don't have to worry about rebranding that like we're rebranding the Nationwide Series to the brand new Xfinity Series. And finally, the front stretch. Buddy and I want to make sure and send out our condolences to the Schwartz family as Pork passed away earlier this week, a pioneer in racing, a legend in this area, and somebody that we're going to be telling stories about for a long, long time. So condolences goes out to the Schwartz family. Still to come, Jim Howe from the Mid America Motorplex is going to talk to us about changes in 2015. Don't worry, the track is not closing down. There's a little rebranding going on. There's a little shuffling of who's doing what, but it's going to be the same great track you've come to expect over the last couple of years. And then, like I said, in turn number 3, we continue the Legends of the Dirt Series. For the remainder of the show, we'll talk with John Gerloff. Hope you stick around. This is The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
This is Andrew from Koziski Auto Parts. Koziski Auto Parts is an insurance-quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke-down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next-day fashion. Koziski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Koziski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731-4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Koziski Auto Parts, our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
Are you looking to book your next outing? Look no further than Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Located just north of Bass Pro Shop, Joe's Karting can handle outings of well over 100-plus people. Bachelor parties, corporate outings, team building, birthday parties, and much more. Give Buddy a call today and reserve your outing. Joe's will even work with local restaurants to cater your event. Book yours today at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everyone already knows.
We're working the high line into turn 2 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Heading into turn number 2 here on the front stretch. We roll on this beautiful December in the Midwest, and joining us in the studio now, one of our absolute favorite guests all year long, Roadkill from Mid America Motorplex. Jim Howe, how you doing, big guy?
Hey, what's going on, man?
I got to tell you, you're not teaching the new guy very good lessons. First time you joined us this year, we got a box of donuts.
Listen to this.
I got a swift kick in the butt this morning.
You're not going to believe this. I just was telling Curtis, I go, we're running a little bit late, and they're going to be mad at me. I didn't bring the donuts.
And then I was a late one.
Oh,
so
Lordy.
We'll call it even. Joining us also in the studio, Curtis. Big news for Mid America Motorplex. Maybe we'll be able to smooth the transition, and it'll be an even transition where it won't be big news. But, Curtis, you're going to be taking over the responsibilities as Jim has officially stepped down as of earlier this week.
Yes, that is very correct. I am extremely excited about the opportunity and have all the confidence in the world that I can hopefully follow his tracks to perfection.
Now, how did he hornswaggle you into doing this?
Well, I don't think he really persuaded me. It was more about the fact that I've been around the track for a long time. He gave recommendation to the new Drag Racing Association that he felt that I would be a good fit for the position, and in turn, I accepted that. It's going to be an interesting challenge. I'm pretty excited.
Well, we're excited to have you. I know 2014 was a great year for Mid America Motorplex. I made my first trek down there, and holy cow, was that amazing. That is an awesome facility.
Thank you very much. We've been through the ups and downs and whatnot, but it's a straight gift to the community. I still feel that way. I felt that way before I was involved with the track. I feel that way heading out of the track, that it is a pure gift to the community. Whether you like it, love it, wish things were better, wish things are just perfect the way they are, or whatever, it's a straight gift. It was like Playland Park in the old days. Is a lot like Sunset or any of the other tracks that were around that were living legend tracks. It's a wonderful place to play. It's the only road course. Not only is it the only road course, it's the Alan Wilson 2.23 mile road course, and it's actually a world class road course. And the 8th mile NHRA sanctioned drag strip is really good. And I always get, how come it's not a quarter mile and it's not this and it's not that? But I tallied up, and we're well over 6 million passes on that track.
Wow. 7
national opens, 3 junior divisionals. We run about 30 NHRA sanctioned events a year with our points races and 3 different series races. And I got to tell you, the people that know that place know that it's a real track, a fast track, and a gift to the community. I can't emphasize enough.
So if I could dig into it a little bit, and feel free to tell me to go fly kite if you don't want to talk about it, but can you kind of dive into the reasons for leaving? Is it to focus on personal life a little bit more? Because I know this can turn out to, I'll help the track out a day or two a week, and then it turns into a full-time job.
Well, I'll tell you, my male dancing career has just took off huge, it's gotten in the way of everything.
Hey, I've put $1 on that waistband.
First off, I see my buddy Lee sitting over here, and it's good to see him as well. No, I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you exactly what's going on here. I do have another LLC going, and it's involved in the construction world, and that's one thing. My daughter is getting older. She's in select sports. 10 years. I got a decade in running, every show. You get 3 weekends. You get 3 weekends a year off. And I have a passion. I love it. Just a few things kind of rocked the boat with me a little bit, and I just decided to make a personal decision to step down and keep the facility running in the best passion I can.
And that's Curtis taking over for you.
Yeah, I believe that Curtis, the gang, Keith is involved. There's some other racers are on a committee that are working together to keep things right and tight. And I think the newfound passion and whatnot, along with the owner, they may be able to get the monies they need to make the place what it needs to be.
So once again, we don't have to worry about this in the off season. Is Mid America Motorplex closing?
Oh my God! That's one of the main reasons I'm here, and I've been working on things the last several weeks. I've been helping book events and everything for the road course, and a few suggestions for the drag strip. The main reason I'm here is to say, look, I'm stepping down. It's been a decade. I'm leaving it in the hands of the community to be racers, to have fun, and the newfound race management to do a great job. And it's all good. No, the track is not closed. The track's going to be bigger and better than ever. They've already been doing a few improvements. event. It's going to have a new webpage, a new name. There's going to be some new branding.
Okay.
There's some really neat things getting ready to go on with the track. And the same reason, like, I want to talk to Lee in the future here is because I want everybody to know that I'm happy, they're happy, everybody's happy, and I got lifetime passes to go there, and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to continue to support the facility.
Now, is this going to be like a Brett Favre thing where you're going to retire and then come back and then retire and then come back?
No,
and then
no, that's not what I'm going to do. But you know what it might be? It might be a thing where I am going to do promoting around the Omaha area, Council Bluffs area. I'm involved with a radio station. I'm involved with a motorcycle hill climbs, a few motorcycle events. I plan on doing a few things at the Motorplex as well. Maybe one thing on the road course. I'm going to be involved with the ice cream cruise, that's for sure.
Hey.
With Kyle Loftus, 1320 video. And that's a huge event right here in the Omaha area. I'm definitely involved with that. And, I'm always going to be here for Curtis, the racers. As you know, 95% of those racers are my friends as well. And, that's pretty good in the race world if you got 95 of them that's actually your friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Curtis, so the transition now, you're going to be taking over rule at the Mid America Motorplex. Can you talk to us about some of the things you guys are already working on for 2015?
Yes, definitely. We were working on several different sponsorships. We got some new programs set up. We're going to try to bring in an import class. We're not sure if that's going to run on a Friday or Saturday night. We're also going to go back to the olden days, which is to be exciting for most of the people who love to come watch on Friday nights. We're lowering the entry for spectators down to $5.
We always like hearing that.
Yes, we have many Quick Series, Bike Series, Summit Series races coming like in the past. New sponsors on some of the Quicks, going to have more of them. Cars that will be going into the 4 seconds, 140, 150 mile an hour down there. So it should be fun and exciting. We did name the new racetrack. I will let everyone know that it will now be called I-29 Dragway.
All right, I-29, I like that.
Like it.
Yep, and the new facility name is going to be Mid America Raceway Park.
Okay.
And currently we are working on a new web design for a web page, but as I was told, you could still enter into the old one, midamericamotorplex.com, and it will forward you to the new website.
Okay.
And we do also have an email address at info@midamericamotorplex.com, and then we will respond and give you as many answers as we possibly can at this time.
What about a Facebook page? Easy way to get a hold of you guys?
I'll interrupt on that one.
Yeah.
One thing I'm very proud of in the marketing, I developed a 6,200-person Facebook page. That was one of the things, and I passed it on last night to the race committee, and you can rename your Facebook page one time.
Okay.
And I gifted that Facebook page over to the new committee, and they're gonna call it Mid America Raceway Park, and that transition will be taking place here probably within the next week or so. And I'm excited that they left the Mid America in front of things because we have a huge URL following on as far as when you look things up on Google.
So then nothing's going to change as far as me needing to go to another page and like it. It's just going to start showing up as a new name.
Yep, that's it. You can do it one time with Facebook. You can do it one time when you're 6,000 or bigger. You can do it once, and we're going to leapfrog that over one time, Dan.
So basically, after I'm getting all of this, I'm still going to go out there and get a little streak in my pants when those guys take off down the strip. Nothing's really going to change because I'm not even. I wish I was kidding. The first time I saw one of those dragsters haul down the strip, got honest, it scared me. I thought it was loud being in a pits at a dirt track race or a NASCAR race. It's nothing. It is nothing compared to that place.
We have also redesigned that Quick Series, so I'm hoping to even get more people there and faster cars there because the potential that we have this year, 8 races for sure, and could potentially be a 2,000 to win pot on those particular nights.
Wow. That's awesome.
Huge.
Curtis, appreciate your time. Jim, always love having you.
Yep.
Please, check in, keep up to date with me, keep in tune with me. I want to get you on the show more often. And obviously, Curtis, with being the new director for the
I-29 Dragway.
Thank you, I-29
and Mid America
Dragway.
And Mid America Raceway Park.
I'm going to have to retrain myself now, which isn't easy to do.
I want to say one thing real quick, and that is thank you very much, Dan. Thank you, Lee Ackerman, sitting here in the studio, and he's been. People don't even know what kind of gift he's been to the community. Most of us do, and some of us don't. But another thing I'd like to say is old Buddy Ray. If you ever see old Buddy Ray, do we have the donation thing going for the toy drive, or what do you got going? You got any donation stuff going right now?
Well, I need to check back in with him. I haven't got to talk to him in a couple of days, but last he knew, the holiday horsepower drive raised about $5,000.
Okay,
that's not a solid number. They were still doing some calculating last time I checked. And you can always do donations. Just go to the Holiday Horsepower Drive Facebook page. You can donate money. You can donate prizes. You can donate gifts. Whatever you'd like to.
Okay, I'd like to let everybody else know Extremic Drive driving experience will be back this year, Extreme, and where you can drive the exotic cars. That'll be back at the facility twice next year.
Awesome. We'll have to talk to you about that in 2015.
All right.
Gentlemen, thank you. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back in Lee Ackerman, and we're going to start the Legends of the Dirt series. We'll be back.
Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs has taken a page out of IMCA's rulebook and gone crate. These brand new low-emission engines will still have you white-knuckling it all through the Metro's fastest indoor facility. Joe's Karting is now friendly for all skill levels with their brand new Honda-powered engines. It's time to get to Joe's today and find out what drivers like Jack Dover, Shaylee Bate, and Andrew Kosiski have known for years. Located in Council Bluffs and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K.
Time to grab another tear-off and make your move. We're headed into Turn 3 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting.
Heading into turn number 3 here on the front stretch. Turn 3, Legends of the Dirt series continuing on here and brought to you by Kosiski Auto Parts. Online at Kosiski.com, located at 51st and I Street in Omaha. Our legend for today, as we roll on with the Legends of the Dirt series, is John Gerloff. John, how you doing, sir?
Oh, pretty good.
John, let's get started from the very beginning. Maybe there's some guys out there that don't know all of the history that is John Gerloff. Can you get us started on why you decided to go dirt racing and not maybe throw a ball for the Yankees or play for the New York Jets?
I doubt either one of them would have happened. I don't know. I guess ever since I was a kid, I always hung around going clear back to long ways back. Worked at Food King IGA like in 5th grade and hung around with Louis Katroki. Nobody probably ever remembers him, but that's been quite a while back.
Yeah, I think you stumped our historian here. What was the guy's name?
Really?
Yeah.
Willie Heckey, Louis Katroki, let's see, who else? Old Dean Ward raced back then. A lot of old guys back then.
Capitol Beach guys?
I started hanging around after Capitol Beach was done, but it was still the same, a lot of the same group of guys.
Mm-hmm.
But, I started hanging out there in grade school, show up the garage and they kicked me out, and I'd show back up and they kicked me out. And, pretty soon they inherited me, so.
Now, a couple of weeks ago, we talked with Charlie Schwartz, and he got kicked out quite a bit, but it was for fighting. Was that the reason why they were kicking you out?
Oh, no. Hell, I was too skinny and too young to fight back then. So, no, that was just, I guess it was just my forte to be or something. I don't know. I just wanted to do it and help and hang around and, hung around there for years until that was clear back when you actually had to be 16 to get in the pits. And when I finally turned 15, we found a crooked notary that would notarize the paper because you had to have notarized stuff from your parents to even get in. And we paid him off and finally got able to actually get in the pits when I was 15 years old. And then, I don't know, it just went from there. Started street stock racing at Midwest Speedway, and it went from there.
Looks like you raced quite a bit with the 06 on the side of your car. Is that just kind of a favorite number or something you fell into?
No, I don't even know why that number was on there, to tell you the truth. Numbers wasn't a real big deal to me. I don't know why that wound up. I think we was going to do 6, and somebody else already had 6, so they put an 06 on and went with that with the late model days, or even before then. I don't know. I don't know why, to tell you the truth.
Everybody remembers John Gerloff for sprint car championships, but you actually won the late model sportsman championship at Sunset in the 06 car.
Yeah, in 83, yes.
And then they didn't like me there. You what?
They didn't like me there, though, so I never even got a picture on the wall in the restaurant. So they just left. They forgot me, I guess, so I don't know.
Well, did you make somebody mad, or did you not pay a bill, or?
I don't know. I guess I wasn't supposed to come up and play with the Kosiski boys or something. I don't know.
I knew that was coming.
I just want to go ahead and say the Kosiski boys are a fine sponsor of this show.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no problem. Hey, I raced with all of them. I raced with Bob, clear back to Bob, clear down to Eddie.
Wow.
So I raced with every one of them. We had no issues.
Hey, listen, we're always trying to. We're always trying to get dirt on Joe and Steve. Do you got anything we can tease them with?
No, not on Steve was great. Joe could be a pain in your ass. But Steve was real easy to get along with, and I got along with Bob good. I used to watch Bob, quarterback when I was a kid, when he was still racing like at Nebraska City and then, you know, quarterback in the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and I'm dating myself now, but no, and then Eddie started racing, you know, when we were still racing late models before we went to sprint car race with Eddie, you know. But no, I have no qualms. We had no, you know, fights or none of that kind of crap. But they were definitely the group to beat at Sunset Speedway. And if you beat them, it took a lot of grief. Believe me, I took a couple of straightaway beer can showers and cups and the whole 9 yards.
Was that from Bob's wife?
No, I don't think I ever met Bob's wife.
Good answer.
Well, not that you knew of. You were dodging beer bottles.
Yeah.
Well, that was actually cups and cans and stuff back then. But you know, if you come off before leading the race and you beat, well, I guess I kind of leaned on Joe one night and it probably made it worse. But you know, I took the front straightaway shower for the checkered flag.
John, you're the only legend of the dirt, as far as I know, in the last 3 seasons that got the opportunity to race against Bob Kaziski and then, of course, Joe, Steve, and Ed. Being able to race those 4 guys, were the boys any better than the dad, or was the dad better than the boys? I'm kind of putting you on the spot.
I guess I don't know because Bob was the man in the day, but as the cars evolved into, you know, stuff that you didn't build yourself, you know, when it started getting into the, you know, bought-in cars and the specialty chassis and all that kind of stuff, Joe and Steve was really good, really tough, you know what I mean? And like I say, Eddie was just coming up when I quit, but I heard he got pretty decent too, but Joe and Steve were both really tough racers.
Did you compete more against Joe and Steve than you did Bob?
Yeah, when it first started at Sunset, Bob was still racing. You know, he was still good. He was good up until the time he quit. But, you know, Joe and Steve were both real good racers. Of course, they always had really, really good equipment and good people behind them. So, you know, that helps. So, I don't know. I don't know if I could say one's better than the other. But, you know, in the day, Bob used to win everything.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day, he was just the guy. You know, no matter where he was at, he was the guy. So, I don't know. I don't remember how many years I raced, you know, with him, you know, actually with him. But earlier part of when we started late model racing, we raced with him, you know.
John, you then eventually switched to sprint cars, and you ended up for a long time with a guy named Gary Swinson. And someday I'd like to count how many drivers Gary Swinson's had, but you certainly had to be one of the longest-term drivers with Gary. So
I was the longest-term driver, yeah. You had to want to race really bad to hang out with Gary very long because he was just one of them grouchy old guys. But I didn't have any money, and I wanted to race, so it wound up working out, I guess. So, you know,
we won a lot of races and a lot of championships.
We won a lot of races together, yes, we did. And I figured out not too long into it that, you know, that was probably a mistake because once you ever get into sprint car, then you just hooked. You know, it's like all racing is like an addiction, but it's just, I basically figured out that if I was going to race, I was going to take the stuff and take care of it and, you know, maintenance it and work on it and blah, 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 blah. So as it worked out, that deal worked out, and Gary would just show up and grumble and growl and chew your ass because you wasn't doing it right, you know. And we won a lot of races for quite a few years. But I hold the record for the longest person to be able to hang with him for racing, yes.
Does that record kind of stand above some of the wins you've got? Is that kind of a badge of honor?
I don't know.
It's an accomplishment, let me tell you.
Well, probably. I mean, there's a lot of nights that, you know, on red flights and stuff that, you know, my helmet came off and, you know, they cost too much to throw at him, but it's like, you know, you drive it then. I'm saying it, but no, but in the long run, you know, he actually did make a racer out of me. You know, I got to give the guy credit for that because, you know, this is, you know, I tell him what you want, and we need this and we need this, and, you know, bottom line it boiled down to this is what you got. If it ain't good enough, go somewhere else. Mm-hmm. You know, so we made basically he made me into racer not by see who could spend as much money, but by, you know, learning how to race and learning how to figure it out. You know,
So I got to give him credit for that. But putting up with him for all them years, I should get a Lucky Beaver badge for that or something.
We'll see if we can't come up with an award.
We'll pull up something for you. Is there a special or a certain kind of track you like to race on? Is it a short track, a speedway, a high bank, a low bank? What kind of track do you like to race on?
It didn't really matter to me except for Knoxville. I never could really figure out. You know what I mean? We raced them all, through the years, and it didn't really matter to me. But the big tracks and the little tracks. I guess I got to say I was probably better on the short tracks. If you're looking at wins and all that kind of stuff, I got to say I was better there. But for whatever reason, every time we went to Knoxville, I see, I think he didn't run last, but we struggled to try to figure it out.
So were you
we could go to Jackson, Minnesota, and a half mile and I-80 on the half mile, and no big deal. But for whatever reason, me and Knoxville just never really did get along that great.
Well, John, we appreciate you joining us so far today. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back in turn number 2. We'll talk more about your career and about the end of it and get to know you a little bit more. This is the Legends of the Dirt Series brought to you by Kaziski Auto Parts online at Kaziski.com. It's the Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
We have all been there before. Broken car part in your hand and some snot-nosed punk behind the counter has no idea what he is talking about, but he guarantees that this part will fix your car. You pay an arm and a leg for the replacement, get it home, and sure enough, it doesn't fit your car. Now, learn from your mistake and give an experienced salesperson at Kasiski Auto Parts a call today at 402-731-4592. Kasiski Auto Parts will get you back on the road with your arms and legs still attached.
Are you looking to book your next outing? Look no further than Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Located just north of Bass Pro Shop, Joe's Karting can handle outings of well over 100-plus people. Bachelor parties, corporate outings, team building, birthday parties, and much more. Give Buddy a call today and reserve your outing. Joe's will even work with local restaurants to cater your event. Book yours today at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everyone already knows.
Get ready for the victory lap as we make our way into Turn 4 on the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com.
Heading into turn number 4, just about ready to wrap up week number 3 of the Legends of the Dirt Series, brought to you by Kaziski Auto Parts online at Kaziski.com and located at 51st and I Street in Omaha. Joining us today for part number 2 of the Legends of the Dirt Series, John Gerloff, talking to us about his career and about his wins. John, is there a favorite win you've had in your career that just stands above all the other ones? Maybe it was just a hard-fought win. Maybe it was the purse at the end of the checkered flag.
Probably the best one where it comes to is probably the short track nationals in Little Rock, Arkansas in 93.
Was that because of the $10,000 payday?
Well, that and, one night rained out and it turned into one of them disaster weekends. And, when you went down there, you're supposed to be able to run our track tire that we ran at Eagle. And then after you race a night, that changes and blah, 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 blah. And, the whole weekend tried to go as bad as it could about not being able to make you do good. And so you hung in there and did it anyway and wound up winning the thing with, a lot of really good racers. That was back in the days where we had, 60, 70, 80 cars at them kind of races. And so that was probably the biggest win. We won the Jackson Nationals in, 80-something. I don't even remember what year it was at Jackson, Minnesota. And, we won a few pretty good races, not a lot of the great big high dollar, what the problem with them is them high dollar races bring, and I still think it's a bunch of BS because it brings professional racers that race, for a living to them kind of races. And in my opinion, the poor weekend guys don't stand a prayer in them kind of races, and I think it's kind of the promoters to do that, but not a promoter, so I know what they want. They want names to advertise with. But, when you get Sammy Swindell and, a lot of the professional 410 racers back then that comes to them kind of races, it makes it tough for a weekend guy.
Well, then let me transition.
Every once in a while, a squirrel can find the nut, under the tree, and everything works out good.
Well, let me transition and ask you this question. I asked Steve Francis about it last weekend, and I'll word it a little bit better this weekend. Let's say you got a scenario of 2 races to go to. One of them is known to not have a very good racing surface, but it's paying $10,000 to win, when the other one has a great racing surface, but it's only paying $5,000. Where are you going?
I'll go with the surface for 10.
The bad surface for 10.
It's easy for everybody to be fast when it's a good racetrack, but when the racetrack's gone, then somebody has to drive.
Yeah.
So I take the crap for more money. May not win it, but you may wind up with more money, in the long run. But I was always pretty good on the slick tracks and stuff, so that's where I would have probably went.
You're pretty vocal about how you feel about that. Let me ask you another thing that you might feel vocal about. What do you think of this new Race Saver series with the sprint cars?
Well, in Colorado, that's all we got. I mean, it ain't really a Race Saver series. It's a 305 series. But I don't know if you want my real opinion about it. But it's a
well, I got the bleep button ready to go, so go ahead.
Fire away.
Well, it's a promoter's dream because they don't pay nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. It's about not paying out the purses that they would pay with the 360s or the 410 cars.
Isn't the aspect that it's a locked down 305 that it only costs about $25,000 to $30,000 to run one of these cars a big positive of it all?
It's the same car as you'd run with a 360 or a 410.
Mm-hmm.
It's the exact same car. Only thing different is the motor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's like every other class that they start. Technically, yeah, you can build the motor for $6,000. But if you're if you're a real racer there going there to win, you're going to have a $16,000 one.
Mm-hmm.
See my point?
Yeah.
All of these classes when they start never winds up being. They never stay how they're intended to be.
Is that
they always keep getting? You remember when 360 started? It was the deal in Lincoln to drag all the old cars out of the woodwork and out of the garages and out of the back of the shed. And how many years did it take it before that was totally out of hand? And its problem is it's tough, and there's so many rules to police. It's a good deal for car count. Yes, I'll agree. But the price of the car is not a penny cheaper than running a 360 car. The price of the motor is the only thing different.
Is that spending competitiveness a major issue that the sport needs to figure out?
Well, in a way, yes, but you'll never stop the people with unlimited funds. It's been that way forever, and it'll always be that way.
Mm-hmm.
How do you stop it?
Yeah, well, I was hoping you had an answer for that.
No, there's been many different ways.
We were going to make a killing with your answer.
Yeah,
but the 360s got. I mean, in the days, Eagle Raceway, Midwest Speedway, and all them, they had the best class of the weekly show cars for years.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
They did.
We would average 35 to 40 cars a night on average at Eagle, and we put on a really good show, and it just keeps. The racers want more money and blah 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 blah. But basically, it boils down to. Back in the 80s, we were racing for, $750, $1,000 to win. Now the 305s are paying, what, $400 or $500. So figure it out if you're the promoter. You want a $10,000 purse or a $7,000 to $10,000 purse, or do you want a $4,000 purse? That's what it amounts to. Promoters will be calling me and shooting me.
Well, they can't do anything to you now. Well, I guess they can still shoot you. But we're talking with John Gerloff, a part of the Legends of the Dirt Series. John, you're up in the Colorado area now. That's where you call home. Beautiful place to be. Do you have a racer up there that maybe us down in the Omaha area need to look at and keep our eye on for being somebody that's going to be maybe a legend of the Dirt Series in the future?
Not here. Not here.
You don't have a whole lot of racetracks, do you?
No, I mean, when I moved here, we had Rocky Mountain Speedway, and, when I moved here, I basically retired, I'm done, and then, a guy looked me up and, kept, come and race my stuff. It's like, no. So, like at IMS, I did, we won 2 track championships out here, and I said, this is the same day, different state, and then when Rocky Mountain Speedway closed, same thing that happened Midwest Speedway. It got shut down because of noise and blah, 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 this politic crap. No, we don't have much left. We got I-76 Speedway out in Fort Morgan, which is about 70 miles east. And we got Callahan, down south, east of Colorado Springs, as far as the sprint car stuff. But there's not a lot left. There's always new rumors of a new one being built every year, but most of it's just, racing BS. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of dirt racing out here of all different forms. There's just no reasonably close tracks to do it with, but maybe someday it'll come back around.
John, do you have a scariest moment that you've had in a car? Maybe it was just an accident that things were kind of starting to turn south and you didn't think maybe you were going to make it out very safe?
I don't know. It's probably some of the nights after you got tangled up with somebody in a wreck. No, as far as no, we wrecked some stuff. I mean, we didn't tear up a lot of stuff. I mean, we wrecked some stuff or something, but it's never. I only took the meat wagon ride once, and that was in Kansas City. But other than that, no, not really.
I'm always kind of amazed, and in fact, I'm very surprised you say that, because a lot of you retired drivers and legends, you guys raced in some pretty shady equipment sometimes. I mean, the safety regulations hadn't evolved to what they are today, and they're not going to evolve to what they are to tomorrow for a while now. But that kind of amazes me that you don't really have a real scary moment behind the wheel, because, like I said, you guys raced in some pretty unsafe equipment at times.
Well, I've got a back that'll tell you otherwise, and a neck that'll tell you otherwise, and that kind of stuff. As far as something that would have even made me thought about not getting back in it, no. Nah. I hurt myself worse on, dirt bike and stuff, screwing around, than I actually did. When I actually did racing. But I mean, I wasn't one of them guys that went looking for an accident, because you get in enough of them without looking for it. So, we never tore up a lot of, I didn't say we never crashed, but we never tore up a lot of cars, so.
Well, I'm sure the owners of the cars enjoyed that part of it.
Well, yeah, I had fixed it, though, so that was part of it, too. I tore it up, I fixed it. So.
John Gerloff is a part of our Legends of the Dirt series. John, we appreciate your time. Have a great winter, and we'll hopefully talk to you soon.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, John.
Bye.
Week number 3 in the barrel for the Legends of the Dirt series.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping my car chief, Fred Lauer, whose family's big time in a sprint car racing, hoping he's not listening to this when John goes, well, I tear it up, I got to help fix it. I don't want to give Fred any ideas. I tell everybody, I tear it up, Fred fixes it.
Yeah, that's absolutely. I've seen that man do things with a hammer on your car that a lot of men.
You ain't doing much to this head, I can tell you that. It's going to take a really big hammer.
So far for the Legends of the Dirt series, if you missed any of the interviews, you can go back onto the YouTube page for Joe's Karting. Charlie Schwartz, Steve Francis were the last 2 weekends. Obviously, we just got done talking to John Gerloff. You can go back and listen to any one of those interviews. Kent Tucker coming up next weekend. Kurt Hansen, Roger Ranger, Ray Gus Jr., CJ Rayburn, Mark Noble, Willie Kraft, and then the Playland Speedway shows still to come as we roll on for the Legends of the Dirt series. We thank you for joining us. Lee, thank you for taking the time out of your night to talk to us.
Thank you much.
We will be back next weekend to continue to talk off-season news and notes, and we'll talk with Ken Tucker for the Legends of the Dirt series. This is The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com.
Max I. Walker has been providing great service to the Omaha area for nearly 100 years. With 23 convenient locations, it's easy to find a Max I. Walker near you. From dry cleaning to laundry to uniform rentals, Max I. Walker is here to make sure you look your best. Max I. Walker has been a proud supporter of local dirt track racing since 1974. From Sunset Speedway to Adams County Speedway and legends of the dirt like Dave Chase, Glenn Roby, Ron Tilley, and so many more. Give Max I. Walker a call today or head to maxiwalker.com. Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs has taken a page out of IMCA's rulebook and gone crate. These brand new low-emission engines will still have you white-knuckling it all through the Metro's fastest indoor facility. Joe's Karting is now friendly for all skill levels with their brand new Honda-powered engines. It's time to get to Joe's today and find out what drivers like Jack Dover, Shaylee Bate, and Andrew Kosiski have known for years. Located in Council Bluffs and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K.